In response to the recent tragedy and massacre in Connecticut, a gentleman, to whom I refer to as JM, writes into the Piers Morgan show to protest Piers Morgan's opinions on the matter. JM says, and I quote, "If Piers is not deported, we should boycott CNN. They are responsible for giving him airtime that he uses to smear the U.S. Why hire a bad foreign national journalist to report on U.S. affairs anyway? Piers was fired from the Daily Mirror, and on more than one occasion was charged with breach of conduct. One doesn't even have to mention his pompous and arrogant behavior on America's Got Talent. He has no business on a national news network. Do the right thing, CNN. Support your own country and its citizens. Let Piers get work in his own country, where they appreciate his moronic sense of humor, his immature behavior, and his snide comments about Americans." End of quote. To which I respond, "Right on! Let's follow your lead, JM, and crush dissent and debate at every opportunity. Let's bring back fascism in all its splendor as we erect new stone monuments and bronze idols to Stalin and Mussolini. Let's annihilate freedom of speech and the press once and for all, and without further delay. Let's consolidate opinion so as to squash individualism as we extol the virtues of the collective consciousness. Let us banish free thinking. In fact, let's banish thinking itself altogether, lest we are infected by thoughtful discourse, science, intellectual rigor and analysis, to speak nothing of goodwill for our fellow man. Let's do whatever we can henceforth to make certain that every one of the 250 million Americans the world over think exactly alike, and whose opinions and points of view are not individually wrought, but prescribed to them like so much medicine, such as Darvon or a date rape drug, which would surely keep our fellow citizens as drowsy, indifferent, and submissive as we need them to be, as we conservatives take over the world. Let us outlaw imagination, as we remove any foreign elements, just as you say, not only from television, but also from the political arena, education, the arts, and indeed from the entire country until, like the ship Argo, nothing is left of the original, save for the coterie of gun-toting hillbillies whose fleeting but final hope for acceptance and the expression of bigotry is to make love to their firearms as they follow each other like newly shorn sheep. Let us follow your lead, JM, and bring our conservative agenda to its logical but inevitable conclusion, which is to establish concentration camps for anyone who fails to toe the gun-loving party line or says anything that is not commensurate with our right-wing values and those of our bullet-baked cronies. Let's round up the lot of those smarmy liberals just as soon as we can, but not before we paint giant letter L's on their front doors and places of business as we, the right-wing stalwarts, so eager to defend the indefensible, march in synchronized solidarity, our mustaches aflutter and our boots up to our knees. Let's outlaw immigration altogether, so as to give America back to those who really own it, the gun lobby. And if I may be so bold to suggest, let all conservative right-wingers, their imported Kalashnikovs held akimbo, join hands, seance-like, so as to contact the living. Remember, JM, fascism is not dead. Not so long as individual consciousness and the ability for an individual to think for himself, no matter his origins or place of birth, is crushed and eliminated without mercy. Nietzsche was wrong. It's not God who is dead, at least in the view of right-wingers whose sentimental embrace of fascism has become sacrosanct, but idea itself. To you, JM, we all owe a vote of thanks for reminding us of just how much the American right wing has in common with the theories and agenda of traditional Marxism and the ancient glories of Soviet-era communism. With your help, we can all become one, a society of drones and worker bees, a collective of insects whose sole agenda is to serve another queen. Oops! Let's change that to leader, lest anyone get the wrong idea, shall we? And so, JM, you and I together, having banished individual initiative and dismissed imminent critique as merely dotha, can now join hands with conservatives and gun lovers everywhere as we take to our windows and shout, "Да здравствует Советский Союз!" Or perhaps even more enthusiastically, for the fond memories it evokes of the old days at Dachau, "Arbeit macht frei!" Yes, JM, you may well have inspired an entirely new generation of fascists willing to go to any lengths to shut down dissent and marginalize difference as we build new camps awash in high-tech, where any opposition to idea and action will be summarily eliminated, if not by gas, then by gun. Yes, JM, let us invest ourselves in 1,000 new slogans for our 1,000-year reign, as we burn books and throw objects made in foreign countries at every television set within reach, which foreign objects would necessarily include the very television you use to watch Piers Morgan. And give voice, too, from every rivulet and mountaintop to our conservative credo, "Let them eat Twinkies!" and "No one matters but me." Let's gather our conservative forces and establish a new holiday of American right-wing stormtroopers, which we will aptly name William Kristallnacht. Let us extol the virtues of the new Vaterland, while descending to the realities of the more appropriately described Vaterland. After all, nothing smells worse than a right-wing conservative, nicht wahr? Collectively then, JM, let us march together as we sing our ode to guns, and give thanks to God, what every conservative has in common with them, the fulgurant malodor of sulfur.